We'd like to start our press conference of the prime and the backup cruise, Expedition 3031. And prior to that, I would like to let you know about the results of the commission. The commission confirmed both crews. The prime crew consists of the commander of the transport vehicle Soyuz and of the commander of Expedition 31, Oleg Kononenko. Flight engineer, ISS, and the Soyuz vehicle from the European Space Agency, Andrei Kuipers. And flight engineer 2 of the transport vehicle Soyuz and of the ISS, Donald Pettit. The backup crew is a flight engineer of the transport vehicle Soyuz and of the SS Senator Williams, Akihiko Shokshide, who is also a flight engineer, and Yuri Malenchko, the commander. Also, Sergei Krikalov, the director of the training center, is taking part in our press conference, and I would like to welcome you to ask questions. Congratulations on the successful examination session. And the first question that we have is regarding your call sign. We would like to learn how you chose it. And the second question is what weightlessness indicator you're going to have, what toy you have, and what else you would like to take with you on board. Altaris is our call sign. Oh, would you like to try the other microphone?
Наш позывной Antares.
Antares is our call sign.
Вы можете это прочесть в энциклопедии.
And you can read this in the encyclopedia. This is a very bright star in the Scorpion constellation.
Из состава различных созвездий.
Normally, Cosmos choose call signs among names of different stars or constellations, and they just follow this tradition. As regarding our weightlessness indicator, I don't know. My children are already old enough, 8 years old, so I didn't ask them. There are many other ways to get a toy. As regards to personal items, it's again all very traditional. Photos, some souvenirs, stuff like this.
Много вещей моя будет, но это все для другая люди. Для меня у меня.
I have several items. They come from different people.
Мои части думаю и фотографии.
I have photos of my family with me.
И, конечно, важный талисман для меня это мой экипаж.
And the main talisman for me is my crew.
My mementos, the talisman, are all electronic, so electronic images and things of family and friends. And I think this is important. This is fitting for the space age to have electronic talisman.
Олег Дмитриевич, вопрос к вам.
A question for Oleg.
Второй уже полет.
Everybody knows that this is your second flight. Were there any reiterations, duplications in your training? Well, each training is always different because I have new position on my crew. I have new members, new crew members, new friends. So each training is separate and individual. It's really difficult to compare it to previous training. Some things can be compared, but most cannot.
Ну, вы ведь вчера забрались, да, на корабль «Союз», ну, в смысле, на макет. И получается так, что вот тогда в первый полет вы
Well, it's just that
в реальный корабль забрались, так?
you tried to get into your Soyuz last time, yesterday, and during a previous training, during your previous, you did the same on the same day. No, it was actually on April 8th. So I think that's really repetition is mother of knowledge. That's the problem that we have. I can only put it like this. It's his first time flying to space a second time. And I believe that everybody will agree that who have flown that the second flight is really different from the first one. Maybe the third or the fourth would be closer to the previous flights 1 and 2, but the second is really different. It's a really new experience, and you have already flown. You judge by your experience, whereas when you fly for the first time, you take whatever's been told to you by your by those who are more experienced than you. So what I can say is that when you fly a second time, when everybody treats you as an experienced cosmonaut, it's really different. It's probably even more difficult to perform the tasks because you're already treated as an experienced crewman, but I think Yuri will agree and confirm. I think the second flight is different from the first one by a greater load of responsibility. And that's why you have this responsibility, because you've flown for a second time. So even though this vehicle is a new one, it's only the third flight of the vehicle of the new series, but still we trust their confidence, we trust their knowledge, we trust their experience. Thank you. Ekaterina Beloglasova from Rossiyskiy Kosmos. I would like to congratulate you on the beginning of your work once again. We looked at your program. It's very interesting. There will be different cargo vehicles approaching the ISS, the European one, the US one, the Japanese one. And could you say a few words about your scientific work up there, or about your extravehicular activity, your spacewalk? They work with manipulators, all that kind of stuff. Well, originally I think about 9 cargo vehicles were planned for our expedition. Then the flight program was modified, so it's a bit fewer now. We have ATV, we have the Progress vehicle. So for the Russian side, we use the traditional Russian modes of docking. As regards the West segment, we expect new cargo vehicles to come, SpaceX and Dragon. And this docking will also be done the traditional way, that is by the US manipulator, the SS RMS, the Japanese cargo vehicle, the HTV, or will not probably see it, the current flight program. As regarding the Russian spacewalk, all Russian EVAs, that's what they're called. They are really difficult in the technical aspect. What will be tasked with will be supposed to move the cargo boom Strela from one point to MRM-2. And this will probably take a long time. It's a really complex task. Then we're also supposed to perform some work with the panels. And if we still have time, we'll have 2 additional scientific experiments. This is the Vinoslavost and test. And also adding some additional installations so that we can egress the docking compartment easier. What about the launch of a certain device? Yes, Anton and I had this training done, so we will do this part of our scientific work. Then we have 35 experiments as part of Expedition 30 and 70-something as part of Expedition 31. There is something new, there is something that I did before when I was a member of my previous expedition, but everything is quite interesting and exciting. Thank you.
Ja, у меня, конечно, сейчас это 5 месяцев много экспериментов. Европейский, японский.
We have a lot of experiments. European, Japanese, Canadian,
Американский, конечно.
US, of course. These are medical experiments, experiments in the field of physics, different types of experiments. European experiments. And this is our future. Because we would like to do what we can and see how it all goes. And everything will go as planned. Of course, it's difficult to perform experiments on board the station. But this is something we were trained to do, and we'll do this. And we'll have it the way we want it.
So many experiments on space station. Choosing your favorite is like taking a chocolate from a box, trying to figure out which one is your favorite. Let me talk about my favorite Russian experiment. It happens to be Plasma Crystal. This is an experiment that uses macroscopic scale dynamics, things that happen on a millimeter length scale in a weightless environment, to help show what goes on a molecular scale in a plasma. It's a fascinating experiment, and I look forward to seeing it again on Space Station. There's another experiment that I really like. I just learned about it a few days ago. It's called Uragan. And this experiment has a spectrometer that looks at spectra from Earth at the same time it takes an actual two-dimensional picture. And it shows wavelengths from the ultraviolet into the mid-range infrared. Another fascinating piece of equipment.
Melanie Stoll with NASA TV on behalf of ESA with a question for Andre, if you could answer in both English and Dutch. Just 7 months after Paolo Nespoli returned to Earth, Europe returns a presence to the International Space Station. What is the importance of this increment for Europe and for your native Netherlands?
Translate the question.
I kindly ask you to ask your questions in English more slower.
So now, after Paolo Nespoli, who flew in the spring-summer time frame, we have our next European crew on board the station. And you asked why this is important for the European Space Agency.
I'm very pleased that ESA, who is a small partner in the International Space Station group, as you can say it, has more or less one long-duration flight every year. Okay, go on. I'm glad I could fill in the slot for this year. It's an ongoing program that we have, of course, with a lot of experiments that are waiting to be performed on board. And I'm very pleased that we, as a small partner for the International Space Station, can participate on this level in this fantastic scientific effort. Het is natuurlijk heel belangrijk dat Nederland als onderdeel van de ESA, een klein onderdeel van de ESA, en ESA een heel klein onderdeel van het internationale ruimtestation, van zeg maar de samenwerking tussen Amerika, Rusland, Canada, Japan en Europa, dat wij de mogelijkheid hebben om elk jaar als Europeanen een astronaut naar boven te sturen en deel uit te maken van dit fantastische technologisch project wat we met zeg maar het hele noordelijke halfrond hebben. En ik ben blij dat ik deel uit kan maken van deze bemanning en voor zeg maar voor dit jaar, een half jaar, mijn wetenschappelijke en technische werk kan doen aan boord van het ruimtestation.
Yeah, a question for Don Pettit for NASA TV. What are your thoughts on returning to the space station for the third time and at a time when you can make significant scientific contributions to the research on board?
Scientific advancements are such that to make significant steps takes long periods of time, with the work of any individual being a small part that's added to the work of many others. So as such, what we do on Space Station, this mission, we will know what the outcome is maybe in 5 years. In terms of familiarity with the third time going back to Space Station, it's sort of like going on the third date with the woman that becomes your wife. There's certain things that are familiar, but then there's a whole lot that's still unknown.
One more question, please. You've been working together for quite a long time, so I think you know each other well enough, and now we are going to spend a significant amount of time in space. What can you say about each other? What qualities, what traits of character can help you to perform this work successfully during such a long amount of time? Yes, I've been training for approximately 2 years, and we really know each other very well. And I'd like to say that both my crewmates are very experienced and very professional people. They know a lot. It's always interesting with them. They're never dull. And we always find topics for discussion. So I'm really happy that I fly with them. I'm very glad too to be a member of this crew. The commander is excellent. It is also important that we never blame each other. So that's why we have always a comfortable environment to work in. And Anton, as you also heard, is a very intelligent person as well. I might even say he's a genius.
The way he's thinking, what is it?
And I like the way he thinks. It is very interesting. And frankly speaking, 2 months is a short period of time, but it will seem long.
Oleg and Andrei with one important word, and that's patience. They have patience that allows us to work together as a team, as a crew, to get the mission work done.
More questions, please? Ever a few more questions. Andrei is certified for the Soyuz vehicle, but this time you fly on the Soyuz of a new series. So I would like to ask you what feelings you have when preparing on this for this new type of the vehicle. And next, your first experience on the Soyuz vehicle was somewhat challenging. We've been searching for you for several hours, and now you start training again on the Soyuz vehicle and a modernized vehicle. And this is the day when the future commander had 2 children of his born. I like the Soyuz, and I flew on the Soyuz TMA-3 and TMA-4. And Soyuz TMA was very good. And this new series, 700 plus, it's a significant step forward as well. It's better, new computers. So, as we move forward, we try to do less. So, I think that TMA-M may even be better in this respect.
очень хороший корабль.
As the current vehicle is already modernized, it's new, it's progressive, and I really enjoy flying on Soyuzes.
Этот раз все будет нормально.
Everything will be fine this time.
У меня есть электронный талисман.
Because I have an electronic talisman.
Хорошо, пожалуйста, еще вопрос.
Questions, please?
В Москве. В сегодняшней пресс-конференции у вас было 2 дистанционных тренировки, 2 дня вы тренировались.
Friday's press conference, I had 2 exams. Were any specific task which were especially challenging, especially difficult, and how it all turned out?
Заключительные это 2 больших экзамена.
Well, traditionally we have 2 big exams. One simulating the usual day on board the station.
Мы тренируемся в транспорте.
And the second day is training on our Soyuz transport vehicle. It takes all day as well.
Скажем так, работа на Союзе оповестила.
So we simulate all the activities on board the Soyuz from launch to descent. And as far as the day on the ISS, we can prepare for this in advance. We look forward to whichever equipment replacements we're going to have, how this day will turn out. But at the same time, it is also filled with off-normal situations, and we don't know about them in advance. So these days were really packed. For on board the station that day we had about 5 off-normal situations, life support system failures, or failures in some scientific equipment, failures of the equipment itself, of the station equipment, and we had a depressed case. The overall grade was excellent, no remarks. The second day was training in our transport vehicle in the Soyuz. We performed a maneuver, we docked, and then we made the descent and landed. And we had around 6 off-nominal situations, then communication problems, a failure in servicing equipment when performing dynamic operations, and a fire case. And the overall grade was 4.8. And what I can add is that this is exactly why we have these exams, in order to create challenges and problems for the crew to overcome. And the main part of the preparation is preparation for off-normal situations. So the main task for the crew is not only to deal with this off-normal situation, but also to recognize that there is an off-normal situation going on. And as you said at the beginning of the press conference, both crews went through these exams and will continue their preparation, the final stage, at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. So why was it 4.8 and not 5.0? 4.8 because the Commission has a special list, and each activity we do, everything we do, is evaluated per this list. There was no major impacts. It's just that there were some comments regarding our actions that evaluated the overall results. And I may add on my part that 4.8 is a really good grade. And again, I'd like to reiterate that obstacles are created on purpose. So this is the way it is done, and it's intentionally done that 100% can virtually never be achieved. Otherwise, it would have been too easy. Well, I can cite an example. Say you work with a panel, you push a button, it's a wrong action, but it doesn't bring about any consequence at all. So this may be a small minus on the list of our Commission, and this is something that Commission can comment on afterwards. A question for Oleg. I know that you are going to take a musical instrument from Yakutia on board to the station. Will this be a souvenir for you or what? Well, some time ago, an official delegation from Yakutia came to us, and they wanted to have one instrument, musical instrument, which was up on the station, be present at their Museum of Spaceflight. And the museum will have its anniversary the coming year, so they wanted me to take this instrument on board the station. It's rather huge, it's 90 grams, and I took it as one of my personal items, and I was also given certain lessons as to how to play it, and I'll see how it goes. Yakutia is one of the nationalities making up Russia, so why not? Question for Sergei Krikalev. Now we're going to have 6 people on board the station. How would you evaluate the work of cosmonauts during this past year? How this past year in general worked out for you? Well, if you want me to deviate from this impending flight and the current crew, I can say that yes, indeed, in the middle of the year we had certain events that made changes in the flight program. The launch was delayed till November, and this was done intentionally so that we make sure that the flight will be safe and will be reliable. And once again, the system showed that it was fully reliable, and despite the change in the flight program, all the tasks were completed very well, and Sergei Volkov had to end all his tasks alone on board the station, but thanks to the resource that the system has, everything continued nominally, and now that this crew launches, we go back to our usual timeline with 6 crew members present on board. So yes, the overall system experienced additional workloads to make sure that everything is safe from the point of view of piloted space flights. And now we have flights that take place more frequently. Now we have 4 launches per year, and this time we had them really packed together. And again, the system holds, and this shows it has internal resources. So despite all the fluctuations, it is still operating, and everything seems to be working well. What system do you mean? I mean the overall system of space flights, of preparation of people, of equipment. It's much more than just one vehicle or one crew. It's the overall functioning, the overall operation of the ISS concept. It's not only the Russian part, it's also the international part, because each change makes impact on all the other participants, international participants, etc. And the experience shows that whichever was necessary to be done, everything was done by all the partners. And now, as the overall system, we go back to the previous level. Who's going to see you off at the Cosmodrome? I will. Yes, friends and family. And of course my colleagues from the European Space Agency, from ESA. And of course instructors and other specialists from GCDC and Roscosmos. Family and colleagues. Oleg, what about you? It's still being discussed. Thank you. We'll see. Thank you. More questions, please. At the end, I would like to let you know about the subsequent plans of our crew. today we're going to visit Gagarin's room, the Kremlin. We'll lay flowers for Gagarin and Korolev tombs. Then we'll also visit the museum of Sergei Korolev, and this program is over for today's day. Next, we'll fly out to the Baikonur Cosmodrome and we'll continue the preparation at Baikonur. And the launch is scheduled for December 22nd. Let's thank the crew.
Да. Олег, я здесь, слушай меня. Пожалуйста, внимание. Руки куда-нибудь дейте, пожалуйста. Олег, ну и традиционно, пожалуйста, пожмите для прессы руки. Да, так и Спасибо большое.
Hey, Don. Bez palsy? Palsy? Может, я по магазинам поправлю?
I'm going to write you about this in your Twitter. I follow you there.
Oh, you do? Okay. I think it's very funny. Oh, good. Did you like the...
Королев и Гагарин.
Да, я хочу... And Soyuz 29S?
No.
Yeah.
Right? Huh? No problem.
Okay, so I do two
Назад отойдите. Да. Давайте назад еще все это лицо.
Цветочек от других.
Так, все, сюди разложили.
Татьяна, Юдя, нет? Пошлите сюда.
Внимание, на меня, пожалуйста.
It's beautiful. It's actually really nice, and at night because it's all lit up and everything. It's really pretty. Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
I don't.
Yeah, right there. Right there?
Yeah. Okay, see, with St. Basil's in the background. Ah, красивый.
Cool.
Yeah, it didn't turn out very well. It just, your mouth was open. It was so funny.
You're too much.
This is cool. It is cool. It's really a privilege to be able to come here and see things from this angle.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever stood looked at.
No, I mean, this is just a really unusual angle to be able to see things.
Windy, like really,
So 6 months.
recent.
Then
6
you can,
months.
Then you might get to see it again.
Yeah, well,
At a different
I've
angle.
decided you either launch in a snowstorm or come home in a snowstorm.
I'll do that.
That's okay. Don't worry
It's all
about
good.
Я беру, мы сейчас пойдем.
I know, it's good.
Там подколка,
That's funny.
Oh, отлично. Еще.
Смотри, даже фонарь в сцене нарисован.
Yeah.
Something that's really, yeah, that they, I don't know if it's like trained to land on your arm or something. But it's houses are all.
Ну, направо сейчас.
Нет, потому что там большой язык.
It's so big in there.
Хорошо? Andrei.
О, да.
Так, все внимание на меня, кто?
Отлично. Юрий Иванович.
Внимание на меня, пожалуйста. Вот, все. И на меня, пожалуйста.
Oh, look at that. Отлично.